today we're going to learn how we can do some live monitoring whenever we're in a live lesson using Jamboard. So this is my favourite way to use this tool. This involves giving every pupil an individual frame, and then you can go on during the live lesson and monitor everything that they're doing by popping in and through all the different frames within the collaborative Jamboard. Now this is so useful because what you can do is offer live feedback to the pupils as they're working. It really helps to deepen their understanding because you can ask follow-up questions as they're actually working, and you can also see those pupils who perhaps haven't quite got it, and then you can put in your supports and your scaffolds in place for them. You can also see those pupils who aren't quite engaged and encourage them to get back on task.
So we're going to have a look at this example. This was an end of week review. We had learned these 4 different diagrams, and then in this final live lesson of the week, we spent time reviewing all of our learning. So I asked them to take a corner of an individual frame and to put all of their understanding of the diagram down onto the frame. So it was a retrieval practice, brain dump exercise. And then I can go along and I can check how everyone's doing and offer some support, offer some scaffolding as I go along. So notice that I've asked them all to pop their name down at the bottom corner so that when I'm moving through the frames like this, I can at a glance check whose work I'm looking at and be able to offer support. And you can even see, even if you're not familiar with this subject, you can see there the level of detail that's going on in their work. And you can see who I would need to, for example, offer more support to. So here, if this was sitting blank for quite some time, I would be saying, Mia, do you need some more help? And asking follow-up questions with that. You can see in this one, this is our wee rule. If they don't know how to do something, they communicate that to me by popping on question marks. And then it means as I'm moving through, I know to stop and to give some assistance in this case. Other examples. So the Freyer model, here this was towards the end of a lesson. What we did was we learned all about this graphic user interface, and then what they had to do was in groups go on and fill up all of the different parts of the Freyer model. I reminded them firstly here in my first frame how to complete a Freyer model, and then they went off and did it. Here you can see all the level of detail and where I was able to offer supports. You can see they love using graphics on it, and they're able to drop on some images. They're able to sketch, and that's our dual coding. They're able to sketch on there some images as well. In this example, I set the graphic organizer as a background. So I'll show you how to do that. And it meant that this didn't jump about or move about on the frame for them whenever they were putting their information down onto it. So the third thing I'd like to show you then is putting on a past paper question. So this is from our exam board, Sia, and this is the type of question they would need to do. So I wanted to monitor them practicing this question during our lesson. So what you would do is you pop on your question, and I took a snippet, and we did the snippet in the last video, dropped it onto the frame, and then what I would do is assign one out to every pupil. So start this from the beginning. So I'm going to clear this. So I'm going to grab this snippet from the exam paper. So I'm going to go to here with my exam paper ready. Up here, grab my snipping tool, scrolling down to S, it's alphabetical, snipping tool, new. Selecting the area I want to keep, keyboard, Control-C, onto the Jamboard frame at the top, and onto the frame, Control-V. If you want to see that a bit slower, that's in the previous video. So now I've got the template, I suppose, or the question that I want everybody to do. So the next stage then is to go up to here. Now you'll notice up here I've got one frame. If I want more frames, I tap on that box and then I click the plus button to put another frame in. But notice when the other frame went in, it didn't have my question. So really what I need to do is duplicate. So firstly, I'll delete this, click the 3 vertical dots to click delete. And now 3 vertical dots, and I want to duplicate. And I just basically continue doing that. And my pupils now have got so used to this, I really now don't even need to do this duplicate stage. I just say to them, right, there's our question for today. Go on, please, and duplicate out a frame for yourself and pop your name down the corner. And they just get straight down to work. So I can keep duplicating like this until I get up to 20 frames. So use these arrows here to move through all the frames. Notice it's moving down the bottom. Or I can tap like this and look at an individual frame. So the one with the blue box around it is the active frame that I'm looking at in more detail down below here. So what if you have more than 20 pupils in your class and you want them all to work individually instead of in small groups? So what you could do is you can make a copy. So I click these 3 vertical dots, scroll down and choose make a copy. Give it a new name. I just call this practice 2. And you can choose here where you're going to save it. So you can go in and save it in your drive and wherever you've got the folder that you're organising everything in. Click OK. And then it will create an exact replica of the previous one that you've got. Now what I can have here is an individual frame for everyone that I can move through and monitor. Now I'll put in a wee bit of video footage of one of my lessons in action so you can hear how I interact with the pupils while they're doing this particular task. Look at what's going on here. So what do you identify as the key parts? If you have a look at what Mary's actually labelled hers. So Matthew, what's the key parts?
Feedback.
Okay, so yes, feedback happens here. But before they can give feedback, Matthew, what do they need to have? Thank you. So is that Reese has pointed it out for you? Thank you, Reese. That's very helpful.
A model.
A model, indeed. Okay, yes, that's good, Cora. I can see what you're doing. You're planning all of the key stages first of all. That's good, yeah. And then you're going to put them in order, is that right, Cora?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Have a look at my screen. And Brian, if you have a look, please, if you just 1 wee second, and you can see over to the left, Brian, this is sticky notes. Sticky notes are useful because you'll then be able to move them around on the frame, and it'll be helpful whenever you're doing your diagram. Okay, so I can see some people are going for an advantages, disadvantages approach, but if you have a look here, all right, so let's have a look at, okay, and then I can see that Kelly's actually going to extend it further with the evolutionary and throwaway that's coming next. Oh, that's good, Brian, you managed to find the post-its. Oh, and is everything okay?
Yeah, I just got my first sticky note up there. I was downloading the app.
Good, that's brilliant. So you're on a roll now. Now the next one, this Freyer model, how did I get this template into the background so that the pupils aren't moving anything around? So the way we do that is into a new Jamboard here. We're using this set background option. So I tap on this. Notice that I can change different colours background if I wanted, like this. I can have dots and lines, experiment with those. But if I wanted to upload an image, tap the image, browse. There's my image, and I just basically got that from the internet and downloaded and saved it. And here it is, and it's now in the background of my frame, and just like before, I tap up the top here and I duplicate. And that's it. So I just keep going until they all get their copy. The final example that I'm going to show you is how to bring in a file from Google Drive, and then from that file then assign different pages
from that file to different students. So this will allow you to differentiate your work for different students within one particular lesson and monitor live then how the pupils are getting on. So to add in from Drive, you choose the plus, then Drive Content, then I'll take something in from this folder, tap on here, and I'll take this document. So it brings it in a little small square shape. So I normally bring it up to here, and then what I can do is just tap here and 3 dots to duplicate. Let's say I have 4 students. What I do now is I'll use my selection tool. So this little arrow, point on it, tap on the Drive item, and then double tap. And notice it becomes a bit bigger. So I click on that, and if that's the first question I want students to do, I'll click on that, drag it out onto the sheet. Using my pinch and zoom, I can make it larger. Then to close that down again, just small X, and it goes into the smaller shape up in the top corner. Move on to the next frame. If I wanted this pupil to do question 3, what I can say to them to do is double tap, scroll down, and you notice down here it tells me what page number I'm on. So they will just simply scroll like this. They will get to question 3, tap it, and out it goes onto their frame. Once again, pinch and zoom, and they've now got that question. Small X to close that down. And that's me now differentiating different questions to different pupils within the lesson. So I hope you found this useful, and if you have any other questions, please get in touch, and I'd also love to hear any other ideas that you have for using these collaborative Jamboards.